Okay? I want to think for a few minutes about where you're at with your business and your life now. And how you feel about that. What frustrates you, what excites you, what you're happy and proud about, what you're perhaps disappointed about. And I think, you know, we can go forward, but we have to, first of all, at least learn where we're at. And it's very personal, so I'm going to talk to you. But what I want you to do now is have a look at where you're at now. If you turn over one page, you'll see a page that says Business Basics at the top of it. And there's a few questions down it. I don't want you to write just yet. I want you to think as I talk to you. But questions like where you're at in your life, in your business, where you want to be, what your goals are, why you're doing it. They're all simple questions. They're all questions that you've talked about and people have talked with you and looked at. But I find that most people, most of the time, haven't really got good answers because we're in a very surface world. We're going to constantly come to the theme about emotions. Emotions drive you. Emotions control every reaction in human society. Every person responds on an emotional basis, but we don't tend to deal with emotions very well. Whether that's England or whether that's business, I don't know. But we've got to start looking at it if we were going to go forward. So what I want you to do, what would be very useful is if you write now some thoughts about where you're at, what you want, where you're going and why. Where are you now in your business? Think about that, and there's no rush, but I want you to write for you. This is your personal record, and you will take this workbook away, and you will look back at this workbook in a year, in 3 years, in 5 years, and if you don't make it clear now, you won't be able to recall it and go, ha ha, look, we were only that then. So where are you now? What about your income? What about your size of business? Is it enough? If it's not enough, then how much is enough? And why don't you think it's enough? And where are you now with your business? And in terms of size, is it new? Is it well established? And if you're an employee, well, where are you now? Do you have career aspirations? What do you think you can give the company that you're not giving at the moment? Or what do you think you've got that they're not seeing? Where are you now involves also how you feel. Are you excited at the future? Are you a bit stale at the present? Do you feel that everything's about to go your way, or do you feel like you've been banging your head against a brick wall and you've got a headache now? Where are you now? And then it'll naturally lead into the next bit, which is, where do you want to be? So where do you want to be? If what you've got at the top is clearly identified, and if we're in the room because we want more than we've currently got, how much more? What does more look like? Where do we want to be? Where you're at now, are you recognised? Are you semi-famous? Is your brand recognised? Is your business recognised? Is it recognised locally but not regionally or not nationally? So where do you want to be? Do you want national recognition? Do you want a string of branches or different outlets? Do you want personal recognition as the creator, as an individual? Or are you not bothered about recognition of any sort as long as you get the money? Everybody be different. So where do you want to be? Do you want to be rich and famous? Or do you want to be rich and not bother about fame? Or are you bothered about wealth? Or would you like more time off? I mean, when you put down where am I now at the top, have you recorded how many hours a week you're working, how many days a week? When you look back, you'll go, God, look, I was working 7 days a week. I was working 6 long days. I was working 5 days and some evenings. Record these things. In that bit at the top where I am now, if you're working really hard, make a note. I'm working my butt off 5 days a week, 16-hour days. Make a note of it, because when you look back, you'll realise how far you've come. And that in itself is very powerful. But then the next thing, if you recognise you're working too many hours now, where do you want to be? Well, you might say, well, I want to only work 3 days a week. I want to work every day for a couple of hours, pop in, check that my empire's running, and then go off to the golf course and my yacht. Or it might be that actually the current business, I'm running my current business now, but what I really want to do in my life is build this, sell it, and then go and write, because I love writing, I love singing, I love acting, I love exploring. What I really want to do is go and learn to fly a plane. I want to just take aid to Africa, build schools in Asia. What I really want to do is much bigger. This is just a means to an end. And write down what you feel. Try and explore your feelings about how you feel about your current role, how you feel about your current level of business, how you feel about your aspirations, your dreams, what you think you'll feel when you get them. Where do you want to be? I want to feel like this. And in your own time, but if you think you've written where you're at and you've summarised where you want to be, then the next section is follow on. What are your goals? So where do you want to be and what are your goals? What are your goals? When was the last time you made... I mean, everybody's looked at goals in the past. You and I together have sat and done goal setting and planning and all this stuff we've done in our past. We know what goals are, even if it's simple things on New Year's Eve. But very often people haven't achieved their goals. Would you say you've achieved your goals for your life? If the answer's no, then you've still got goals to do, so write them down. What are they? And if you've written what your goals are, then maybe you know why you're doing it. Maybe you already know what you really want. But have a think about that. What do you really want? What are your goals? And so why are you doing it? Why are you pushing? Why are you getting up, working with the stress, suffering the lower levels of income and all the other things that you've got now that you don't want? Why are you doing it? What is it that gets you out of bed in the morning? What is it that makes you still do it when it's a weekend and you'd rather not? What do you really want? You, inside, really want. You must write your thoughts, because the very process of doing that lets more come through. It's a very, very good habit to get into. So have a look at what you've written, and if you know you could have written more, try and scribble some more in. But as long as you can look back on this and say, make it a clear marker, how much you're earning, what car you're driving, where you're living, what your size of company is, what you've not got possibly would be where you're at now. Where you're at now, but make it a clear record. And then your goals, what you really, really want, will be a contrast. So when you move forward, you can see this and you look back and go, yeah, look, blimey, look how far we've come. And it is only you versus you, and this is your workbook. And you'll keep looking back at this and you'll keep referring to it, I hope. And we will move forward. And you'll be surprised at the pace of the forward movement, actually. You'll look back in only a few months' time and realise, wow, things have changed. So what you're writing as where you're at now will very soon be history, not current.